Would you say it was a classic case of them booming themselves?
It's ancient, but like Faker's having one of the best splits he's ever had in his whole career. You doing that same thing 10 times that you thought was really innocent, that like you can recover from, that's what makes you lose the game.
If you spend your pennies, you won't ever make those dollars.
The trash talk has been going up some spicy levels, dude. It's like hot ones. We're like level 4 right now.
This team was flexible and aggressive and dominant.
Something to really like hang your hat on, right? It's like a really good achievement, and it's like a mark of a really solid team.
Esports.
No, it's for the Warcraft Fall Guys.
Hello and welcome to the Esports Meta, your stop for the weekly North American esports news. I'm Billy Sims, here to bring you our today's topics. We're going to be talking about OWCS, League of Legends, LCS, Major 1 finals, as well as news about Apex Hacked and WoW's new Battle Royale. But I'm going to need some help. And today, as always, Nicholas Layton's going to be here to join me. Nick, how are you feeling about this week of esports? How you doing? Have you gotten a chance to play any of the new Battle Royale?
Have not played any of the new Battle Royale, but last weekend was pretty exciting. Had some close calls and some not so close calls in a couple of events. So it's going to be some fun stuff to talk about just in general. And then next week we have the actual final, like the actual finisher for North America. So it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good couple weeks. I
got to catch some of that LCS action, and it was pretty close call, 3-0 kind of mentality. The scores do not represent the play of the game, I felt like, but that's only the minimal I saw. But
so the 3-0, like we'll talk about it, but it's it was devastating. It's like absolutely devastating.
We'll talk about it actually right now because let's get into it. LCS, let's get into the LCS Major 1 finals. Let me screen share this real quick just to run us down where we're at. All right, there we go. So this past weekend we had part 2 of LCS Major 1. This is all for the shot to get your invitation to the mid-season invitational by league, which of course just means more money, more chances for you to win. Last time we left it, FlyQuest was on a bit of a run. They were dominating upper brackets, and they had knocked down Team Liquid Honda, as well as 100 Thieves getting bumped down into lower brackets, fighting for their survivability or just their prize money, as well as the dignity. So that's kind of where we've been. Nick, you want to bring us up to speed as far as what happened this past weekend, if we want to go game by game here or bracket by bracket real quick?
Yeah, so I mean, as you like talked about, right? Like we had FlyQuest who was trying to maintain their first seed spot for the most part, right? And they knocked Team Liquid into losers, into the lower bracket. We don't call it losers anymore for whatever reason. Makes people hurt, I guess. But, you know, and then Cloud9 also took out 100 Thieves the previous week, right? 3-0, like 3-2 for Team Liquid, which was, you know, super interesting just in general.
Yeah.
And then you see like NRG almost also beat 100 Thieves in the lower bracket. But over this last week we had some really fun events of Cloud9 versus FlyQuest was really good. And then we also had 100 Thieves versus Team Liquid. Those were the 2 matches that happened over the weekend. And so like Cloud9 versus FlyQuest, there's not much to say about it besides like Cloud9 disappointed themselves, like is really like what it came down to. There was a lot of things, like there was a couple things that like, you know, you could pinpoint and say like they did wrong, but like it really just felt like they choked. Because they would just start off. They would start off with decent or good, or, you know, they would have some really strong ways to stay in the game or get back into the game.
Yeah.
And then it just looked.
Would you say it was a classic case of them booming themselves? Like the mental just got in the way, or was it like a strategy thing or just skill issue?
I mean, the mental's rough, man. Like the mental after 2 losses, like, do you even have a mental at that point? Like, and they played, like there was some good plays in the game 3. Like there was some good stuff going on in game 3. Mm-hmm. But like that being said, like it really, like Cloud9 really just didn't show up, and like FlyQuest played well.
Yeah,
they they played dominant at certain points, but like it wasn't like there was no point in the whole series where you were just like, all right, yeah, this is a done deal. This is over. It's not like game 1, game 2. You're like, well, you're like, there's a chance. Like there was always a glimmer of hope. For Cloud9 right up until the end, but it's a little too much.
They just couldn't
much to overcome.
Yeah, they just couldn't pull back the reverse sweep. They couldn't get any sort of ground, be it the mental or the strategy. But yeah,
rough.
Definite rough because they get bumped down into the lower bracket finals. They have another shot for a redemption arc. If they win against Team Liquid Honda, they'll be back at it to FlyQuest and hopefully put up a better showing, or we'll just see a repeat 3-0. This is important because they're fighting for the second seed to MSI, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me just pull up MSI 2024 again.
Yeah, in the meantime,
this one always gets me.
In the meantime, I'm going to take a look at the scoreline for Team Liquid Honda versus it was not quite a one-sided affair, but it definitely had a signature on it. There was definitely one team that was dominant in this, that was making the plays, and it's one that you've talked about before, where it's just about the impact of specific players making those moves. Let me bring it over to here.
Impact was huge. Impact was huge in the game, and like Impact has been around. He's a world champion from, man, I want to be like, it's going to be like 2013 or something, right? Like he is an extremely good player. He's from Korea. He was on SKT.
That's like 70 years old in gamer years.
I mean, like him and Faker are like the same age, I think. Like, let me see, Impact age.
Right.
27, let's say.
Yeah, that's ancient in gamer years.
Like it's ancient, but like Faker's having one of the best splits he's ever had in his whole career. At 27 years old, he's doing really, really good stuff. And like Impact, he's a really great player. Like he's a solid player. Everybody who plays top lane, I'm sure, just thoroughly enjoys like a lot of his top laning, just in general. He's really strong, consistent player. He sets examples in many different.
It seems like his top lane set up Yeon for the MVP of this match, and it was made it very clear who was the team that's going to win. 100 Thieves looked like they had it together, but they just couldn't overcome this matchup.
Yeah. Again, like 100 Thieves probably just didn't even also have like the mental to think like they might be down on the dumps on themselves. But it really just came down to like decision making. Like a lot of the macro play, it wasn't the micro. Like lanes weren't really getting devastated at all. So there were some setbacks here and there, some things that could like happen, but a lot of the stuff just came down to macro play, like some really really silly stuff. It's the same thing with like Cloud9. Like a lot of the stuff just came into like why are you guys doing it this way? You could have just, instead of doing it over here, you're supposed to do it right here and split the team up a little bit more. So like just stuff like that, like little tiny things that like we could get into it if we had the time. But it goes play by play and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff. It's what I've said to you before. In League, it's the minor things that end up bleeding you out, right? You bleed by a little bit. And then there's the one big thing that everybody's like, oh my God, that lost the game for us. Like, that's not what lost the game for us.
True.
Like you doing that same thing 10 times that you thought was really innocent, that like you can recover from, that's what makes you lose the game. It's
right.
Like that one big fight at the end of the game, that's what you needed to do. like everything else was the build up to that. That's the fight you needed to have. So
death by 1,000 cuts.
Yep. If you're always spending your pennies, you'll never have dollars, right? Like, so like, that's just the way that it comes down.
All right.
I don't even know if that's a quote.
I mean, you're making it. If you spend your pennies, you won't ever make those dollars. Nicholas Layton, 2024.
Right? Who knows if that's a quote?
Let's put it on a t-shirt. So hopefully we can see the teams come back from that sort of mentality, make better situations, don't die. Because I know FlyQuest is winning on those little cuts. So this coming weekend, we're going to be seeing Team Liquid Honda go up against Cloud9 in the lower bracket finals for their chance at getting to play FlyQuest. FlyQuest has already booked their ticket. They're just determining how much prize money they're going to get here. And we're going to see who's going to try to match them and maybe surpass them here by getting their ticket to the MSI as well.
There's only a couple ways that it could go. Cloud9 really wasn't playing like themselves. And it does seem like Team Liquid was at least 80 to 90% of themselves, right? Even when they were playing FlyQuest in the beginning of the upper bracket semifinals. So really it just matters how exciting this is going to be. It really depends on if Cloud9 comes back in as regular Cloud9 in full form. They don't even have to be better than they once were. They just have to literally be Cloud9 and not throw, not do any of that, which is easier said than done, especially for a person who's not playing. Don't die, bro. But
get out the gray,
right? Just stay off the gray screen. But they, as I said last time, when it comes to Cloud9, there's a lot of ego in a couple of their players, but not necessarily a bad thing. They just need to do what they're supposed to do and rely back on some of their players. Maybe they just need to go try to win out of the bot lane or something. But if they come back as themselves, as the normal Cloud9 that we expected to see in the semifinals, I really do feel we're gonna have a really solid game between Cloud9 and Team Liquid. And it'll be a toss-up. Okay. Could be which team will actually win. It could be a 3-1. I feel if either team wins, it's gonna be a 3-1 situation. It won't be a 3-2. It's not gonna be a 3-0.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Make your prediction. I'm gonna make mine because I have less knowledge and experience with League of Legends, but I'm gonna say Team Liquid Honda actually beats out because they were looking a lot stronger through the series, through the stuff. Yeah. And they're going to get that attack at FlyQuest overall. Yeah. And I think FlyQuest is going to end up pulling it out. But what's your predictions here?
That's pretty much my, I would love to see Cloud9 win, but it's going to be Team Liquid, and it's going to be Team Liquid 3-1. And then I actually do think they'll end up beating FlyQuest 3-2.
Okay.
But
a little bit different than mine, but I'll take that as a compliment here. It'll be fun to watch this weekend. As you can see on the screen, is coming out this Saturday and Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but may differ from depending on your time zone, from wherever you are. Nick, if you're all wrapped up there, unless you want to put a little cherry on the top of that topic, we can move on to our next topic here.
Yeah, no, we can move on. I got nothing else. The only thing I can possibly say is Bubbo's going to talk trash before the week is over, so it's going to be pretty intense. Bubbo's been he's been spilling tea, on podcasts. He's like, I don't even know why you built this. I didn't think you were just going to go out there to lose. And he's a pro. The trash talk has been going up some spicy levels, dude. It's hot ones. We're level 4 right now. Okay. We're level 4 spicy at the moment. It's getting up there. The bomb might hit. You don't know.
Yeah, well, he's got a ticking clock to make that happen. He's got about 3 days to see some Spice Lords in the chat. But we're going to move into the other finals that happened this past weekend. WCS, Overwatch Championship Series. The North American main event occurred, and it was a bit of a shakeup because after we filmed last week, we had a patch that came out that changed everything. We talked about it a bit. Malga was the meta, and people kind of rioted. They didn't want to see this for a whole nother month, and surprisingly, Blizzard responded. They changed the patch. They changed some of the nerfs into a situation where Malga is back just a little bit, but it's enough where he's not in every single game. We saw Sombra and Symmetra also nerfed, which is complementary to the Malga meta, which I think they were just trying to rein back again, I said. But this had a major impact on this weekend's tournament. And I'm bring up the bracket real quick here so we can take a look at the overall narratives. All right, here we are, the bracket from Face It. more or less, it was pretty standard affair if you just look at the winning teams, but there was a lot more behind the surface here. Toronto Defiant was the absolute favorite. They are a remnant of the OWL, and they have the power to pull players and the coaching and have the expertise, and they definitely showed it. This team was flexible and aggressive and dominant, and even more better, if that's even a correct phrase. The meta shifted into their favor. You know, every person has a character or hero that they lean into a bit more, that they're a specialist for, perhaps. And we definitely saw that with Sugar Free and Merit.
Like, their one DPS is a Sojourn main, right? Like he's like one of the best Sojourns in the world.
Yes,
or the best Sojourn in the world. Yeah. Yeah. So like, it was a spicy event, dude. It was like inviting one high school team to play kickball against a bunch of elementary school kids. It was messed up. Like, I swear to God, Toronto Defiant should probably pay some like mental health bills for like the next like 2 weeks or something. Yeah, like, because it did not seem fair. Like when I was like, I watched a lot of their matches because like I've seen them in the finals, right? Like, yeah, we went and watched them in Philly. Yeah. So I was like, let's watch it. And I was interested in like M80, and like Timeless was doing like, you know, interesting. So I watched some of Timeless. I didn't watch any of like Luminosity's games except for the Luminosity versus M80, but Toronto did seem overwhelming in their strength, like absolutely overwhelming.
Yes, they definitely were. And it was kind of expected. Like, it wasn't a new story. It wasn't a surprise. A lot of teams were going and expecting to be fighting for second place here and fighting for the second place points so that they could book their ticket to DreamHack in Austin. But I must say, we had some situations that were very interesting because, especially here in this Timeless Toronto Defiant match, it went 3-2, went the full 5-map decision, Toronto coming up on top, but Timeless gave them a run for their money. Merit really showed up on the Sojourn with his 2 years in Overwatch League, and probably the best Sojourn ever. I think he's the only person to get a triple kill with one shot with Sojourn in pro play. So he was putting on a clinic, but it was cool to see Chopper and Rocket come in and really put the pressure on as a counter DPS duo. As well as seeing.
It's why you need bans in this game, bro. It's why you need bans. Like, my man is a soldier merchant. He's an absolute merchant when it comes to it. Like, he's just handing it out. It's ridiculous. I was like, a lot of the shots, like, it was impressive. It was super amazing to watch, honestly.
Yeah.
But,
and like you said, when you have this sort of playground for a team that good, you get to see some fun situations happen. You get to see them flex a bit and go in on it. And even in this game against Timeless, going 3-2, they were flexing. Toronto was pulling it out, pushing them as far as they can go, and they made it happen. So the other storyline I want to talk about is that the final match, was it? Yes. M80 coming out and playing Toronto Defiant and like just getting 3-0'd, which is pretty disheartening, but they got knocked down to the lower bracket where they met with Timeless and then also got 3-1'd. So that ultimately it was a rematch of Timeless and Toronto Defiant, and Toronto Defiant just absolutely slapped 5-0, not a single inch, no F's given.
Yeah, I stopped after 2. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I stopped after 2. I literally said I don't even need to watch the rest of this. Like, that's fair. I wasn't being entertained too much anymore because it didn't really. There was no like give and pull. Like, there was nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like it really just felt like they were just sitting there and like, oh, yeah, we'll give you the point for a second, real quick, and then they take it
tactical
back.
Retreats. Tactical retreat.
And you know, there was one embarrassing point for Merit. I'm pretty sure it was Merit, right? Where he got booped off by Lucio, and he got absolutely embarrassed by the oldest cheese in the book. Like it was one of the older maps. I can't remember the name of it, but Lucio standing outside just wall riding, and like he walked out, and he was like, he's not going to boot me, and he immediately got booped, and he got punished for it. Nothing happened. It was a 4v5. Nothing came of it, but he just got like, it was one of those facepalm moments where he's just like, damn it, like we're still doing this, guys. Like after so many years.
The big thing when you see that too, I think the strength is the tank. Someone has been seeing some interviews and back behind the scenes stuff. Someone seems to be a great leader and really just orchestrating the talent in the moments of this. They don't sub people in. They just flex to the different characters, and they just do it pretty seamlessly. And so it's either just like a matter of like too strong skill issue for everybody else, or it's just a perfect meta for them. The other storyline I did want to talk about here is the M80. They ultimately came in third place, but this was the team that had to rebuild the roster an hour before the deadline, and they managed to come in third place. I think Avril had an interview with one of the players saying that it was still a bit of a disappointment because they were expecting to be a number 2 seat, being all those Overwatch League former players. But it didn't quite pan out that way. Either way, that's got to be amazing. Like you and I, let's form a roster an hour before something starts, and like let's see how good we do. And like, granted, these guys are the best in the world, but that's still impressive, right?
It's still solid. It's still, it's still one of the more amazing things that like happens, right? Like they, in all honesty, because they haven't really practiced that well together, it just means that they're all really flexible players and like who they're able to play with, right? Like that's really what it comes down to is you have 4 to 5 players who are extremely flexible, able to meld with other people and know enough about their teammates to play at a high level with them. Like you can see somebody stream, you can see somebody play, but if you're not like it's it's like when we used to play like old shooters and stuff like that. A person who plays with a friend on split screen, like as soon as they stopped playing on split screen, they immediately knew exactly what their friend was doing. Like they knew where they were going and you just get the synergy going, and like that's really what it proves. And I think it's something to really like hang your hat on, right? It's like a really good achievement, and it's like a mark of a really solid team.
And like that solidity is only going to get better because they've got a coach like Gator who coached the Atlanta Reign for so long. They have these pros, Hawk having so much experience and like just considered the best tank in North America with his versatility in general. I would like to see Hydron step up a bit because I know he gets some criticism about being a bit of a flake or a letdown, a fraud even, as some famous coaches like to call. But yeah, it's cool to see how like Pelican Hydron work together. It's cool to see how the support duo is coming back, and then it'll just be up from here in the next stage for them to try to garner more points, which at that point too, we got to talk about what's next for the OWCS. Bit of a little flashbang on the screen here with the all white, but more or less we're going to be heading into stage 2 before we go into the first major. It's going to be a 1 week, 2 week break. So no Overwatch this week. Next week will be open qualifiers, which I don't believe are going to be broadcasted. And then after that, that's when we're going to see 2 weeks off from Overwatch. And then we're going to get back into the group stages, the Swiss group stages, and then back into a tournament. And here we go. Here's a bit of the specifics of what we're going to see. Same sort of pattern happening with the qualifiers, then to the groups, then to the tournament. And that bracket qualifier, registration will be open until April 5th, I believe it is. 2024 schedule, qualifiers to start. Here we go. Yep. Roster lock, April 5th. So if you're aspiring to be Overwatch legend, a champion per se, grab the boys, go sign up, start practicing, start scrimming. It's definitely worth doing. And Facet's been a fantastic platform to do it on at any sort of ranking. If you got you guys and gals are in the bronze, the medals, like me and Nick are. It's something to definitely consider putting a team together, going to play, because it's a much different experience than your typical ranked experience. And who knows, you could be maybe somebody who's getting that 50 points, getting that $30,000 grand prize.
What's the entry fee for it?
I'm not entirely sure, but I'll look that up and we can talk about it a little bit later. I do want to talk about the points here because, like we had said previously, the points briefly are attached to the players and they increase per stage. So we see that Toronto Defiant got 50 points per player, totaling 250 for their first place, as well as that $30,000 prize pool. Next stage, the total prize pool will be 100. So that's going to be what, 100 points each, making it 500 points for the first place team total. It'll be cool to see what kind of roster shifts happen, and maybe that's some of the news topics we cover from here on out.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to follow.
Yeah. It's definitely been a cool journey with that, and it was pretty exciting. But with all that excitement, we're just going to take a pause, and we're going to take a pause on Overwatch Champions to move on to our next topic. And it was a bit of a surprise one. It was a bit unexpected, though it was hinted at. World of Warcraft came through with a big story this past week, releasing a battle royale, pirate-themed battle royale. Nick, did you get a chance to play it, and do you have any initial thoughts?
Yeah, so I did get to play a little bit of it, right? Like just a tiny bit. I'm excited to see like where it goes. Like I'm not a big battle royale person, right? Like it's not a mode that I'm just gonna sit there and play all day. But let's say the cynic in me, right, is like, dude, it's so great to see them steal from Ascension more. Like I can't even express to you enough. Like literally, this is I know that they had to have hired at least a couple people from Ascension.
Maybe
because like the game, it's like, remember when they first got like in WoW, we got like elitist jerks people got into the game and they ended up on the back end.
The game director is literally the dude from Elitist Jerks now, Ian Azakosis.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm saying, but like that's when the game started to get better, right? And like this is like classic Season of Discovery, Plunderstorm. This is Ascension. This is highbrow theft, which is fine in the video game world. Do a battle royale, do it all with random abilities in World of Warcraft.
I don't know, man. I don't think it's really theft from Ascension because A, Ascension's thieving from them, but B, like they're not really going hard on this. And that's one of the criticisms of Season of Discovery. They're staying very calm and tame with this, but that's also where the Plunderstorm comes in, because like I feel this is great for WoW. It's great for competitive esports community around WoW. So it's not just the MDI. You're going to have an entry level. You're going to have pulling in, and it's a big sandbox experiment. But this is like there's currently a court of public opinion that's like torn on it, where it's like this game mode's terrible. It's not WoW. It's something else. And like they're not necessarily wrong.
They're wrong in the aspect of it isn't WoW. It's WoW. It's 100% WoW. It's on the WoW engine. It feels like WoW when you're fighting things. It literally feels like I'm leveling up a character. Like it's the exact same feeling that I get. But, like it's not their WoW. It's not their WoW. Their version of WoW. But we've heard that many times, right? Yeah. We've heard it many times through many expansions.
Well, let me just run through what this is as far as what Esports Illustrated is described as. It's a thrilling 60-person PvP battle. You get dropped in on a griffin. You have to land and collect plunder, kill mobs, kill other players, and last person standing wins. As you kill those players, you can loot chests and you can gain abilities, spells, as well as utility abilities. Ultimately, just trying to like hedge your bet to win. And it's very, very Fortnite feeling. And I've enjoyed it so far. And I'm pretty much all for this. It's all based on the Wrathy Highlands map. And you have a storm just slowly close in over time, much like other battle royales. So it's not really a crazy different version of a battle royale, but it does feel drastically different than the typical WoW experience. But like Nick said, you could easily just sit there and spend your time grinding the mobs to level up. not see a single PvP battle, another player, and still be pretty competitive in there, or just collect the reputation to level up for the mounts and the cosmetics, which seems to be a big part of that.
It's solid fun, right? And like people who are saying like it's not my it's not World of Warcraft, right? It's not, but it is World of Warcraft. Like you do have to click the next tab over, but it is World of Warcraft still. It's just not where you're gonna like level up your fantasy character and stuff like that. But I mean, it's really cool. Like it seems over the last couple months, right? Blizzard has kind of gotten there. I don't want to say like they've gotten there, should be there, but like it's kind of seems like they've been getting it together because. All right, so in the next, like, let's talk about like next expansion, right? Next expansion is supposed to involve like pirates. It's supposed to involve the Wrathy Highlands royalty, right?
Maybe like, not. Maybe like not.
It's supposed to. You never know.
The lore is hinting that direction.
It's definitely going to have pirates in it, right? It's going to have at least the one pirate who came back and was like, "Hey guys, there's this place over there that I came back from that no one else is like the Dark Continent." That they're kind of like branching, they're bringing everything full circle. So like they did it in Season of Discovery, like Xalatath is supposed to be like that shadowy figure, right? Like everybody's suspecting it to be Xalatath, and the timeline's getting like messed up. So it seems like they're kind of using every single keyword that they're going to use in their next expansion and just putting things out. So like it all feels like it's all part of the same bundle. Whether or not like it's whether or not it is, right? Like Plunderstorm, it's great, but I do like again I like Wrathy Highlands pirates, like this could be the reason why we all think it's going to be like pirate based with like Wrathy Highlands.
Well, anyway, so like you're talking about lore here though, but like I want to talk about the competitiveness of it because like that was also the skepticism at first. Like, can this be taken seriously, as serious as like WoW arenas can be, or that the MDI is, or the Race to World First now is, which is definitely the preeminent WoW esport right now. So in that way, Nick, do you feel like this game could be taken seriously as an esport?
No, it's World of Warcraft Fall Guys. It's World of Warcraft Fall Guys. Like everybody who thinks otherwise, like you're silly. But it's World of Warcraft Fall Guys. It's a fun game mode for you to have that's better than Battle Pets. Okay? Like it's better than Battle Pets, and like we don't have many mini games inside of World of Warcraft just in general. The ones that we do are just quests for the most part. Like this is like it's kind of like World of Warcraft's first mini game. Like
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It feels like a mini game. It feels like Fall Guys.
I feel like this is a beta test for it. I feel like there's something more at play here. They did add MMR a couple days after it started. So you're seeing rankings happen, but behind the scenes rankings, and it's definitely felt, and they've definitely talked about it in blue posts. But I feel like
there's a reason for that.
I feel like there's going to be something else happening here. There's definitely more at play. So like it's first and foremost a sandbox to test new actions and features and just playability. It's very action oriented. To cast, you don't stop, you can keep moving, though some spells are at slower movement speeds than others. The attacking is action, you have to point, you can't just tab target and auto hit. So like that, if that came through on a normal sort of expansion release, which most features do come through on, all these people are going to just complain about, this isn't WoW, this isn't what I want to be. So them testing it out here, getting people used to it, I think is part one of this. And then part two, I think this is Fortnite. I think they're going to try to go with a free version that you don't need a subscription for. Maybe it's on a limited time event series or not. But I feel like they're going to turn it and they're going to make it they're going to make an aggressive acquisition strategy here for World of Warcraft. They just announced the numbers of World of Warcraft subscribers are up. And I think this is the philosophy and the process that is involved with it, is getting these things, doing this stuff. So I do think this is going to be a way for them to test out new features and future expansions before they hit the expansions. And I do think it's a way to acclimate the player base, because the forums are just going to hate it because they hate everything. And then the third thing is that they're going to test a new way to play the game or pull people in, or even just push it to console now that they're mommy, daddy, Microsoft on board.
So I mean, I agree. Like it's a way for them to like test a bunch of stuff, right? but like, do remember that, like, unlike a lot of other games that have PvP in them or are PvP oriented, World of Warcraft PvP is sweaty as F, bro.
Yes.
It's sweaty as hell. Okay.
WoW in general.
Like, they put in an MMR rating because, like, the people who are gladiators are coming in and they're just mushing people like they're stealing candy from little kids. Like, they're punching kids in the head in their soft spot. That's how bad that they're beating people. Like, I watched Peekaboo throw all of his items. He was down 4 levels. He threw all of his items to the last guy in the thing, and he goes, "We're gonna do this raw dog." He threw all of his items, all of his stuff, and he just boxed the guy down. Like, it's sweaty, okay? Like, but that's always World of Warcraft. It's super
I don't
sweaty.
know about that. I agree. WoW is always sweaty, especially when you get the classic, when you have this specific set you need to do, world buffs, etc. But like, there's going to be that level. The MMR is generally to make a competitive game. So like, it's not like an adult boxing a little kid. But I do feel like speaking of Peekaboo, I randomly ran into him in a match and I almost beat him. I don't think he was obviously trying, or it wasn't anything really at stake there, but there is still a little bit of a sense of pride, and I fucked up. I almost had it. I overextended my engage and I couldn't close on it. That's my bad. He got me, GG's. But like, I don't think that I've got the experience or the capacity that he has in that. And for me to be able to do that, I don't think that says that poorly on the game, but I also don't think that says poorly on me or the duel that we had. So like, again, I don't think it was very serious, but for that to sort of happen with the MMR, I do feel like there's a little bit of a counterpoint to what you're saying.
I mean, sure. But like, we've played, like, as in our World of Warcraft career, the two of us, we've played a lot of PvP overall. But just in general, whether it be arena or battlegrounds, we're more raiders and everything like that. But we never shied away from PvP as part of the game for us, right? World of Warcraft players do that. There are people who play PvP and people who do not play PvP in World of Warcraft. And there's a lot of people who do not play PvP who are jumping into that sweaty, smelly area of a PvP in Thunderstorm.
That's where the criticism is, because the cosmetics, they can't help themselves with FOMO to feel like they have to play it. But that's also where the best way to grind out the reputation, get the plunder, is not PvP based. You kill the mobs on the ground, you pick up the thing, you do the quest, which is essentially WoW. It'll be interesting, to see. It's only been out for a week. We have a lot more content coming up with it. Not personally ourselves. We'll talk about it as news develops, but specifically, we're going to be seeing a Twitch Rivals content creator tournament happening on March 30th, 10 a.m. Pacific, which I believe is 1 p.m. Eastern, if I do my maths correctly. And we're going to have like generally everybody here. Disguise Toast, Maxim, Asmongold.
Hey, you want to play the bingo? You want to play the bingo? I got Snuts, Peekaboo, those two teams. Venruki's going to disappoint us. Noble and Preach is that's what are we doing here? What are we doing that Noble and Preach are coming in? Like, this is what I mean.
The whole time about more.
Do you not even see the sweat that exists in this whole entire list? Like, and then they're like Noble and Preach, and this is no disrespect to Noble or Preach, right? Like, Preach does a lot of rating. I don't know what Noble does. Noble's got a really good channel. I know. I'm saying I don't know what he does in game. I like his content. I know Preach raids because he talks about it. Noble's not like, the other day I was playing World of Warcraft, right? He's like, no, today at World of Warcraft, and he has that awesome
he does live stream. Right? Like, he does live stream as well, I believe. But anyway, like, there is definitely a lot of sweat here, a lot of top end, but there's a lot of like casual players, casual streamers with the game, some streamers from other games as well. So it'll be really fun to see. I'm sorry?
Who do you think's gonna win? Pick 3 teams.
I think the safe bet.
Pick 3 teams.
I think the safe bet is Zaru and Peekaboo, because Peekaboo's definitely been sweating on it the entire time. And like, I gotta say, because he beat me, he's gonna beat everybody else. So therefore, like, it was worth it. But You might see some surprises with like a Dorky and Growl, who are like high Mythic Plus rate players. And like as a dark horse, random, maybe in Nagura and Cruella, but
Tally's gonna come in. Tally might do decent. Like Savix is another one. Like Savix, really? Like the rogue guy is coming in here. Like if you don't think that he's gonna one shot you with some like slicing wind melee build, like it's gonna be over. Like I don't know. Like that's probably like I picked the rogues. Like this is why this game mode is dangerous, right? And the reason why I brought up the sweat before, right, is because me and you both know a certain rogue friend that we have, right? They share mentality. They share mentality, okay? This is the rogue sweat dungeon, okay? This is the YMCA for World of Warcraft rogue players, all right? Is really what it is. And I think that they'll win. Zaru and Peekaboo and Savix are going to be my winners.
Yeah, I think Peekaboo is going to be a pretty strong one. I think Sarth is going to be another strong one, but we'll see this weekend on the 30th. I'm going to be tuning in and watching. It's been a lot of fun. We'll see how Plunderstorm develops, how WoW and Blizzard handle a reaction, how players grow with their sentiment or just continue to like shit on it, but I'm for it. I want to see them do more of that. It's been really fun and definitely like more lifeblood into the game. But if you have anything else to add, Nick, I'm going to move on to our next topic. It's a pretty brief one.
Nah, I'm good.
All right. See. This past weekend, it was the Guilty Gear World Tournament, World Finals. ARC World Tour 2023 came to an exciting conclusion. And we had two competitors that stood above the rest, as the tweet says here. We had what is it? I'm not even going to bother saying that. Toki and Ismail as the champions.
Toki.
And then specifically in the tournament, Varix and Slash came in first and second. Solo Esports and Twisted Minds representing. FlyQuest back on our tongues, talking with Tempest. It was a pretty exciting, but congratulations to these guys. $50,000 grand prize, $20K for second, still pretty good. But this was a long circuit over the past year, almost year and a half at this point. I mean, I said to you while I was watching it, it's March in 2024. How are they still doing a 2023 tournament? But it was a ton of fun to see, a ton of fun to watch. I love Guilty Gear as far as a game to watch and play. Definitely takes technicalities on a whole new level. So big congratulations to Varix in the play. I'm not familiar with Strife in this character. I know he went up against May, but I believe this is like a vampire samurai. And this is a character he won, and that's the winning moment. For $50,000, Varix, congratulations. Wishing you all the best with that moolah.
Yeah, solid prize, $50,000. But I wonder what the overall prize pool was per like tournament leading up to that, right? Because they had to qualify via points or placement in other tournaments. So, hopefully it netted them, some positive stuff, right?
Yeah, and ARC is you don't really see them. They're a great game developer, but you don't really see them in a popularity sense like the same as you do with like a Nintendo or a Blizzard, etc.
Well, they did what's it, right? They did
Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue,
Dragon Ball.
Did they?
Didn't they do the last Dragon Ball game? The last Dragon Ball Fighter on the Switch? I can't remember.
I'm not sure if that was ARC Systems or ARC or if they're the same, but
what the hell was it called? Switch.
Yeah.
Fighter.
But I always love the innovation that Guilty Gear brought to the fighting game genre, and this hopefully ARC can push their organization further with the way they compete and the way they present competitions, because it still feels a little bit all over the place. Like I said, like we're having a 2023 finals in 2024.
And yeah, they did do Arc System Works did do Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun game too, but like a little bit simplified, I think a lot of FGC heads would say.
Yeah, it's made for a more broader audience. Like you got to understand, right?
That's fair. But But that's really it. We want to give a simple congratulations to the winner there. Pretty solid prize pool. Share that news, share that story, and we'll be looking forward to the next events coming up with it. But our main topic is at hand, Nick. We're here to talk about the aftermath of the Apex North American Finals hack. And we're going to run you through the whole situation. But Nick, how much of the situation do you know and are you aware of so far?
I'm not aware of the resolution.
Okay.
I was all of my information came from we'll say the expose that Pirate Software did on their channel.
Okay,
if you don't
great
know
content.
Who Pirate Software
Great
is,
content.
he's a hacker by trade, a person that has extensive knowledge in the field. I think it's like 20 to 30 years of background in hacking stuff. For he worked for Blizzard for a really long time for security. He did a ton of stuff for the U.S. government, for power plants and stuff like that, like hacking and everything like that, to keep that stuff safe. So a lot of the information that I have came from his analyzing before the resolution happened. So it was really like when we only knew a few facts. So it was like a couple of days ago, like when he went over it, and that's where a lot of my understanding comes from.
Yeah, that's been the craziest part about this whole situation is how quiet it's been. It happened on the biggest stage of Apex tournaments, but it's been like ghost town quiet. Pirate Software has been a fantastic source of information, a fantastic analysis of it because of his experience and because of what he does in the Twitch community, in the gaming community. But let's run down the backstory here to bring you up to speed of what happened, break down a little bit here and there, what to look out for, what's interesting about it, and then what to look at as we go ahead, because I don't think there's been an official resolution for the whole situation. So let me start here by sharing my screen and set the stage. Last weekend, the North American Apex Finals tournament occurred. You had players competing in round by round to see who can gather points, and whoever got the most points over the course of, I think, 10 rounds would win and be declared the Apex champion for North America Majors 1. Then in the middle of, I think, the 6th round, we had this happen. This is a player's point of view. This was on stream. The player was playing, and then as they played, they had a wall hack turn on, and I'm not entirely sure if you can hear that.
No, none of the audio came through, but he just screams, right. I'm being hacked, I'm being hacked, I'm being hacked. What do I do? I think he curses a little bit, and his buddies are just like, you got to log out of the game, you got to quit.
Yeah,
and so he just immediately quits. There is a longer clip that shows that gives a little bit more context to it, but really this is just crazy because it even comes up in the chat.
Yeah,
right?
Hands up. He's not trying to, and they're telling him to log out. It's such a hard situation because you want to compete. You're in there in the mindset to compete, but then what do you do? And as you can see, you have all the. He just hit pause. You have all the names. You have the wall hacks. You can see where everybody is. That's obviously a blatant problem. It's obviously a hack, and the intention here is to implicate that he is hacking and that he got caught. This also happened to another player. I don't remember his name, but it was a different situation. It was an auto aim that was put on where no matter where you looked, it automatically hit somebody when you fired. And that was both put on in the middle of the match, to both of their surprises, with both people getting reactions like stop playing, log out, which is very, very interesting, very curious, very suspect. What's going on? Who's doing this? What's going on? I said that already, but yeah, it bears enough weight to need to be repeating. So immediately they paused the tournament. They hold off. They couldn't find a resolution, and Apex claims it was hacked. Doesn't really talk about it, but players start claiming it is. I'm going to bring us into the tweet that then Apex Esports Shared, due to competitive integrity of the series being compromised, we have made the decision to postpone the NA finals at this time. We will share more information soon. This was that day at 8:52 p.m. of the tournament. Not a bad reaction, but like it was definitely needed. So that was the next step here. Okay, the players get hacked. They're surprised. They pause the tournament to investigate what's going on. Well, at that point, Apex uses a system called Easy Anti-Cheat. And Easy Anti-Cheat, and this is information I learned from Pirate Software, is a kernel level program, which means it goes on to your computer and it accesses everything. It's able to see, look at, so it can monitor what you're doing and also control it. Make sure you're not opening up a hack or doing this way. So Easy Anti-Cheat claims their integrity is intact. It is not a problem with them, that it's a problem, implying that it's a problem with Apex, and that they're going to continue to work closely to make sure that it's resolved. Easy peasy, no worries. But yeah, we did see Pirate Software come in and kind of say, hey, being confident is different from fully understanding the recent claim, RCE vulnerability, and with easy access, Easy Anti-Cheat's claim. Here I am still waiting to see if the vulnerability lies with Apex or with EAC. Better to be correct over being fast. And like, it's a good point. You want to make sure you've got the things right, and you don't want people to panic, because if you're giving them the wrong things on this, kernel level is bad. It's detrimental. If it is that, it means that they can access your credit card information stored on your computer. It can access identity stuff. It is an absolute sort of situation. And a lot of people do not like it, do not like the access it gives. And this is something not to be trifled with, is basically he's saying. So don't rush into saying one thing or the other. Well, a bit later, we still haven't seen any sort of announcement from Apex Legends Esports, but it turns out that as of yesterday, they played it off. Where is it? Here it is. They played the last couple rounds of the finals offline without streams. So it seems that maybe Apex has found a resolution or acknowledged it, but they haven't announced it. They haven't talked about it. And I agree that some sort of degree of secrecy is needed, because this is an arms race. If I tell you I hide all my cookies on top of my fridge, and you want cookies, you're going to come in, you're going to look exactly for them on top of my fridge, right? But then if I don't tell you where they're at, you don't even know I have cookies, and you don't even know what you're going to be chasing. So like, that secrecy makes sense to me, but it feels really bad as a viewer of this esport, that I don't even get to watch it, and I don't even get to hear about it. There is a rebroadcast happening today, the 26th, but I don't know how I feel. So Nick, as far as how much information that's been presented right now, what's your thoughts with how Apex or Easy Anti-Cheat has handled this overall?
It's not too great, right? Because like the person who claimed credit for the hack overall,
hold on, because like that was like another development that happened with it, where if we want to kind of move forward, where it's like there was somebody who claimed responsibility.
Well, yeah, like, so without saying that part, if we look at like them saying like, hey, we're confident that it's not like us, right? That basically says like, hey, it's either like Apex the game, which is EA, right? It's an Epic Games owns that, and so you're either saying that, or you're saying that two people's computers were compromised. So they basically like essentially saying like, we take absolutely no blame in this situation. It's not us. It's definitely somebody else. We're confident to say that it's somebody else and not us, right?
Right.
And what are the other options? It's either the players or the game. and we've all been told, don't hate the players, hate the game,
don't
right?
Hate
so it's
the
Apex.
player.
So Apex by crossing out what can't be and what can be, like, it's Apex is the reason why this hack happened.
Right.
No other excuses.
It's funny how easy anti-cheat kind of like, whoa, hey, hold on, it's not me, bro. But like, they're not saying it's you. They're just like, it's not me.
I wonder why, because they're used in how many different games?
Well, the big list here, let me bring that up real quick, which makes it even scarier about this. Where
It's huge.
Here he is.
They're
They have a
using everything.
huge list of partners and developers here, but the specific games, we're
Bro,
talking
Top
Apex,
Cap?
Absolver, Albion Online, Battlefield.
Top Cap, though?
Yeah.
Top Cap. Like the bookworm people. The people who make the bookworm game on the browser. They make browser games, bro. What are they doing with easy anti-cheat? Like for Scrabble? Is this what it is?
BDO, perhaps, as well. Like, there's so many Fall Guys, Gears, Halo Master Chief. I mean, Halo Master Chief's kind of a joke anyway, but
So essentially anything that is on Steam uses like
No.
that's competitive in some way.
no. It's not everything on Steam. There's a lot of games that don't, but you're seeing these titles that are big titles that are AAA studios using this kernel level anti-cheat. And the scary thing is like how widespread the games they touch, but then how much access to the system it gives. And that vulnerability could be exploited to destroy. Absolutely. So we're seeing it on like a little bit of a flex joke with esports, which ruins the competitive integrity. But like, can you really take Rocket Arena seriously now? Could they have a tournament and just be able to?
Which one of these games are one-player games?
I don't think a lot of them are, because like Ragnarok is an online MMO, Rust is like a survival MMO RPG. So like,
I assume like the more we talk about easy anti-cheat, right? The EAC. The more we talk about the EAC, the more they're going to turn into the shadow broker who sells everyone's information who has this kernel on their computer. Like it's really what it's going to be, right? Like it's like immediately my thought is that they're just selling credit cards on the black market.
Yes, or somebody's able to exploit it for a black market. So like you have like a white hat hacker, like a Pirate Software, Thor from Pirate Software, do that. But then specifically, you've got somebody who took credit for it, basically. A person by the name of Destroyer 2009 and R4 Random.
So if you go to the one guy's thing though, the first clip that we put in though, remember the guy took credit inside the game. See? Destroyer 2009 and for random, that's in the chat right there.
Gotcha.
So like that's why this guy's able to come out and say that like they did it. I'm putting my hand too close to the camera now. My fingers. So like right there, like that's why it's not like it's connected. That hey, that's me. Like that I am who I say I am, and this is what we did.
I mean, with the interview the interview they kind of did was just saying that there's no bug bounty from the developer. So why report it? They'll fix it. They know what it is and they'll fix it. But he's kind of just shining light saying it's Apex Legends problem and issue. But I'm curious to how he did it. And he doesn't really disclose, of course, which makes sense. But like, if he's accessing all this through Apex, loading a thing and then turning it on while easy anti-cheat's also sort of there, that's feels bad, man. A big simple feels bad, and it ruins the competitive integrity. And that's on Apex if it is that. 100%. It's not on this hacker. It's on Apex.
I mean, all the games that don't run EAC, right, is the competitive integrity like at question? Like I played Magic the Gathering online for good money. Like it's like, is it in question? Like no. So I mean, like my thoughts would be like if there is even remotely a possibility that EAC could be at fault or have some sort of like issue, or maybe it's like the two of them joining hands what creates this issue, right? Like maybe it's the two of them.
Yeah.
Like what's the point of having EAC in general anyway? Like all right, people don't cheat, right? Like
yeah, what's the point of giving EAC that much power over your system?
I mean, I don't even get me started on like apps taking over my computer or something. Like it drives me nuts. But but it happens more with phones, thankfully, than it does like computers.
Yeah.
I would probably go on a murdering spree if someone like tried to like control my computer through an app. Like that would probably drive me nuts. So
Right.
I mean, I don't want to give them like I have easy anti-cheat because I have Steam games that use it, right? But I mean, I don't know of any other games that I actually have that use easy anti-cheat besides my Steam games. That's why I'm saying like it seems.
It doesn't feel like it's exclusive to Steam games. I believe they have Epic games, but like it is mostly.
Pause for 1 second.
Yeah.
Can we find out what Wolf Team Turkey is? Is this like a hide and seek game where people are fucking werewolves, bro? Like one team is turkeys, the other team is werewolves.
I'm gonna look at it off,
right? Because it can be something spicy, right? Like so, like half of the Switch shop just ends
I think it's German.
Spicy.
I think it's a German game.
Bro,
it starts
what? It's
in English. Seems to be
a shooter. It's a team shooter where people turn into werewolves.
I think so. There was that one that was pretty popular there where you turn into a vampire or you were a vampire, but yeah.
Yeah, that one was kind of fun for a little bit though. Like all those like interesting random battle royales. Like that guy looks like a vampire on the right. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's vampires versus werewolves, you know?
Yeah, very kind of CS:GO vibe here, especially with graphics, but yeah.
Yeah, not that good.
Interesting
not
catch. Definitely something to look at, but like easy anti-cheat does cover a lot of games where there it is, the partners. Here we go. And it's a lot of multiplayer. So like the competitive integrity and like, right. Like that's a big conversation of like, we both need to feel like we have a fair shot to win to want to play. And then for the money and reason to be there, like, you know, notoriety, fame, or prize pool. And for this to happen to one of the biggest esports games out there is huge. And like, it's kind of a fortunate situation that they were kind of altruistic, but who knows what else they're hiding if they are hiding anything. There's always that possibility. There's something else that they were able to do something else. Either way, it's a bummer that the finals were played out offline. It makes sense to why. It's a bummer that they never announced it. The apexlegends has still yet to announce a fix or that it's been addressed. It is still just like MIA. Hey, when was the North American Finals going to happen? Oh, it happened yesterday. Okay. Is the game safe to play? No idea. Probably have some patches in between because they were probably losing their mind, but like you should at least be announcing at least for theater, for solidarity and like the theatrics of it. Congrats to TS. Sorry, what's up?
It's interesting. And before you go into the congrats, I do want to say the guy before that you couldn't remember his name. His name is TSM Imperial Halal.
And TSM ended up winning?
Yeah.
I don't know, but you know, their conspiracy tinfoil hats might go on and saying there's something there.
I mean, you know, it's just or Imperial Hal, but I think his like name before it was shortened was Imperial Halal, but you know, well, I could be wrong, but it doesn't really matter.
Nah, I'm gonna pivot into our congrats to TSM for taking it home off stream. If you want to catch the rebroadcast, it's happening on the 26th, depending on when you're watching. It might have been in the past. You can check the VOD or you look at it in the future from right now. But it'll be interesting to see what happens because we haven't had an announcement from Apex, from the developers about a fix. And there's a nice popular tournament happening here. Apex Legends Twitch Rivals tournament happening on the 29th, just 3 days from right now, where you have a trios tournament with some pretty big streamers, some notable people. And yeah, I don't know what to feel about this. Obviously, these are low stakes as far as seriousness, but what's to stop that guy from coming in and just turning all these different hacks on while they're streaming? that's a lot of instant fame and instant stories.
Hey, he could be doing us a favor. Like, just in general, they could not be very good at Apex. And it could be pretty boring to watch without these cheats.
I enjoy watching the Twitch rivals, even if it's like players who are not usually Apex players or that game players. But yeah, that's happening this week. It'll be interesting. Like I said, I keep repeating this. It'll be interesting to see if the game developer has done anything about it, or if the hacker strikes again on this. Nick, there's been a lot. You have any final thoughts to wrap up today's episode, our topic here?
Dude, I didn't even realize we did an hour already. That's interesting. Felt a lot shorter.
We've been cruising right through it. We had a lot of stuff. We went from LCS score recaps to OWCS.
I got nothing.
WoW Plunderstorm, we talked about our picks, and then Arc World Tour, and then now Apex Hack. So there you go. Everything from this last week of North American esports. I'm just going to finalize and say I'm really looking forward to Plunderstorm's Twitch Rivals. I'm looking to see what happens here with Apex Legends Twitch Rivals tournament this week.
It's all going to be cinema, bro. It's going to be pure cinema. Like, the whole entire weekend for these two things is going to be absolute cinema. Like, because even if they're bad, like, Plunderstorm has like a lot of boisterous situations that happen that end up being like entertaining, especially from like content creators. Like, it might not be like as entertaining watching like one of your friends play. Do it like, oh man, I almost got him. That was sick. Like, somebody's on screen like, oh dude, I almost got him. What? Ah!
Big reactions. We're here for it.
Yeah.
We're here for the big reactions. Be dramatic. And if you're typing, you're not playing. The other things I just want to mention to look forward to, RLCS Rocket League Championship Series is happening this weekend. The major one is going on from Thursday to Sunday. You got some Battle of BC6 happening, Bum's Birthday Bash, 2 fighting game series. Exciting to see this weekend. Some Smash Bros, some Street Fighter, all the hits. So check that out if you're into it. And of course, Apex Legends on Friday. But that's all I have for this episode and these topics. Thank you for joining us. Nick, say thank you, please.
Thank you, please. You happy, Dad?
Yes, thank you so much. This has been the Esports Meta. Check us out every Tuesday here on Twitch or YouTube. Or if you want to just stay connected in between, we've got all the social medias, the TikToks, the Instagram. So you know what to do. Hit follow over there. We really appreciate it. And we want to know what you're watching, what esports you're competing in, how well you're doing. Are you top 8? Are you making it? Let us know. We might even have you on as a guest. But that's been it for the Esports Meta. I'm Billy Sims. That's Nicholas Layton. Oh, he's over here. That's Nicholas Layton. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.